Hey everybody, Jess here at M105s. If you can't tell, today we're filling in this mud hole because I'm tired of driving through it and slopping mud everywhere. Let's get to it. Well, hey everybody, so like I said, we're filling in the mud hole today. We want to do this for a while. There's my helper, but he gave out on me. That's cool. Living his best life, you know. So yeah, let's open up these doors and get this thing dumped. Alright, so as you can tell, we got her dumped. The one thing about dump trailers, I don't know if you're aware, if you've ever used one, unlike a dump truck where usually it'll empty out pretty much all the way when they lift it and dump it. A dump trailer doesn't do that, I guess maybe because it's a little bit closer to the ground, and this little back part will drag right here if you raise it up too high. So you kind of have to raise it up as much as you can and then leave some space there in the ground so that you can drive off and then finish emptying that out. And hopefully you kind of seen that in the video. Let's get her lowered down, and I'll do some shots of me getting this spread out. As you can see, here's the hole right here. It's just kind of a road down in the pasture. I've kind of been putting this road in a little bit at a time every year. Before I started hauling this stuff in here, this bottom right here would just stay really wet, and we were having a lot of rain that year anyway. And one winter I was having to go across the creek and travel this little area to get my hay, and by the time winter was over with, man, I had, I think, 2 feet deep ruts through here from my tractor. My tractor axles are actually dragging the ground when I come through here, so I knew I had to do something, so I started hauling this stuff in here. I haven't had that problem since, so definitely glad I had the dump trailer and this resource right here. And if you don't know, this is actually fly ash. There's a coal plant just up the road here, and this is kind of a byproduct of burning coal. But once this stuff gets wet and sets up, it'll be like concrete. It makes a really good road base. This stuff is it's like a reclaim. They dump it out and then they come back later and grind it up. Some of it's real fine, but then you'll have bigger chunks in here. Sometimes you get big chunks like this. I mean, that's really too big, but hey, it works. A lot of times them big chunks may get caught in the box blade or something like that, and you have to get off and chunk them out, but it's no big deal. It's really good stuff other than that. Well, alright guys, I'm back here. Got the land leveler and the bucket on the tractor. I'm gonna try to get this dirt spread out. Now, the land leveler normally wouldn't be my first choice for this job. I'd normally hook onto the box blade, but the box blade's an older style. It's not quick hitch compatible. This land leveler is, and just for something real quick like this, I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time getting the box blade hooked up and having to unhook it later. I just took my spare off, stuck this on there, and then we're ready to go. Now, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to try to push it backwards, which again isn't the best thing to do with the land leveler, but it does actually work fairly well. You may be surprised at how well this works for just spreading out dirt, and then you can really smooth it out when you do get it spread out. All right, I'm gonna call that good for now. It's not perfect, but that's all right. I knew it wouldn't be this first time. And I know somebody's watching this, they're probably thinking, well, first mistake you made was putting this in a mud hole, because that's just going to turn to slop and push out, and you're really not going to be able to fill it in. And you're right. Normally you wouldn't want to do this in a mud hole, but I've worked with this material here enough to know how to use it. And one way I like to use it is dump it in a mud hole, because once it sets up, once it gets wet and sets up, it will be hard like concrete. Now you could still bust it up with a box blade or something like that, but it makes a really good base once it dries out. So instead of waiting on rain, I just dump it in the hole. And once, I'll give this a few days, we got a lot of wind and a lot of sun, warmer temperature, so this will dry out really quick. And then here in a few more days, I'll be able to bring another load in here, and all of my ruts and stuff will be full and be solid. And that next load is spread out real nice, and I'll get a lot of area coverage out of it. So I've got a few holes, smaller holes right up here that aren't going to take near as much material, and so I'm going to fill those up. I'll be able to fill those with this next load that I put on top of here, and I will never have any problems out of this hole again. All right, what's up, y'all? This is I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of update on the mud hole that I filled in, because I got about 3 or 4 days of drying time on the material, and then we got this weather right here, which is, I don't know if you can see it, all on these trees. There's a white tinge, and that's not snow, that's ice. So I think we're on the tail end of an ice storm here. Hopefully this is the worst of it. But the 3 or 4 days that I gave this to dry out, you probably couldn't tell from the earlier video, but this was just, it turned pretty soupy from where I dumped it in a mud hole, and I did that on purpose, but it did get soupy on me. So I just evened it out as much as I could and just let it set. And because I let it set those 3 or 4 days, it really started to set up, and I can drive my mule across it. I'm walking out on it. The cows have actually been walking on it. And if I would have waited till that hole dried out, and then probably, we'd have got this weather anyway, and it'd be soupy for a while. I'm glad I went ahead and dumped it in that hole, let it have some time to set up. But I wasn't expecting this weather, but it did have enough time to dry out. And so far so good. I'll come back and like I said, I'm gonna put another load on this, but it's doing what I wanted it to for now, which is keep me out of that big mud hole. There's kind of a low spot that's holding a little bit of water, but that's fine. It's not gonna get any worse than what it already is. So like I said, I'll fill it in, and we'll carry on. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this video out here. So I'll tell y'all thanks for watching. Thanks for checking out the channel. Check out some of our other videos if you haven't. If you like this video at all, give it a thumbs up, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.